What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to take a little bit of a look at how to set up the OBS for streaming Golf Clash. Get a lot of questions on how to do this and how to do that, and where do I start and things like that. So this is going to take you from the very basic Golf Clash setup to a more advanced setup, and we're going to try to do it all in one take. And so there may be some hiccups here and there, but I'm going to go through this live as I'm trying to set it up. First thing you want to make sure, there's two things you got to make sure you got first. One is you got the OBS software, whether that be OBS Studio or Streamlabs OBS. Second, you've got to go through the technical hoops that are not technical hoops, but the little hoops that you got to jump through to become a YouTube streamer. You essentially got to tell YouTube, I want to be a streamer. They're going to ask you some questions. You're going to go through some things, and generally it takes about a day before they say, hey, yeah, go ahead, have at it. You'll all that come through emails and stuff. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I set my stream up. You can use OBS Studio here, or you can use Streamlabs OBS here. I'm going to use Streamlabs OBS because I am recording this tutorial on OBS Studio. So after we go to the website here, streamlabs.com, and we download, we get it installed, all that good stuff. First thing we're going to want to do is right click on the icon here and go down here to properties. And under properties, we're going to go to compatibility, and we want to make sure that this is checked as run as administrator. And what that does is that prioritizes the Streamlabs software. Your CPU concentrates more on OBS, on your streaming platform. And so you want to make sure that does that, so it's not focused on other things. So now we got that. We're going to get this open. And when you first open Streamlabs OBS, it's going to look very similar to this. Thank you, Felix, for subscribing 4 hours ago. Greatly appreciated. And this scene here, this is a scene that the software won't let me delete for some reason, so we're going to start. But anyway, when you open it up, you're going to see it's going to say new scene. That's kind of where we want to start at. But before we do anything else, we want to go into our settings, and we want to have a look there. And general settings, I think those are pretty much standard. I don't remember doing anything to those. Our stream, this is where we tell OBS software how to communicate with YouTube. And here it's not going to show it, you know, it's hidden. I could show it, but then you could stream on my channel, and we don't want that. So where do we find that at? All right, so we go to YouTube, and we hit the go live button. It's like right here. We would hit go live, and it would bring us to this thing to where we manage our upcoming videos, and we would want to schedule a stream, and you would do some settings there. And once you do that, it puts this in the queue. So we're going to go there, and this is what it looks like before you're getting ready to go. And I set my stream, this is how I set my stream up. Here is the key that you need to go here. Now, if you want to verify that, you can by showing, you know, you can show it on both platforms, but the one key for me has been a one-time deal. You upload the key one time, and it connects to whichever your next scheduled program is. I've got this one set to private. It'll never go live, but it's there to show you how to find this stuff. If you want to set your stream to where you've got ultra low latency, that's so that your chat might be able to snipe with you. If you go to normal latency, it's like a 20 or 30 second delay, and your chat has no chance of ever sniping you or joining you in the gameplay. That's your preference. You can set that up however you want to do that. All right, so now we've got our stream key in. We're going to go to output. Output is pretty important. You got streaming, recording audio, and replay buffer. I don't mess with the audio or replay buffer, but streaming and recording, you may want to tinker with a little bit. First thing you want to look at here is your encoder. If you've got a graphics card that has the specific chip for encoding, your stream, it's going to have NVENC or NVENC New. Always select NVENC New. If your graphics card does not have that, you're going to select X264. And the difference between the two is that X264, your CPU handles your encoding, how it sends information to YouTube. What that means is that not only is your CPU controlling your software program, it's also encoding, constantly working, sending out information so that you can have a live stream. So the NVENC, what that is that's a specific chip on the graphics card that takes the encoding part off of your CPU. And I'm thinking it's about half of the percentage usage, the workload that it takes off of it. So if you've got the hardware encoder NVENC, I highly suggest that you use that. Unless you've just got some, supercomputer, some Threadripper, 12 core, 12 thread, whatever PCU, I would suggest using the NVENC encoder. Next, we got our CBR. We want that at constant bit rate. Want to leave that the same. I've never messed with any of these, but we want to keep it at constant bit rate. Our bit rate is dependent on how much upload speed your internet has. Mine has more than enough to stream at 1080p, so we'll set that at 6200. If you need to, sorry about that. If you don't have higher internet speeds, then you may want to drop that down to 4200, which is closer to your 720p. And anything below that, you start getting into standard definition, and you want to try to avoid that if you can help it. My internet has more than enough to handle everything I need to do and still upload a 1080p signal, so I keep it at 6200. Max frames 2, that's the same. We want to set it at, if we can, if your CPU will handle it, we want to set it at max quality. If you've got a slower running CPU, the slower your CPU runs, the further down this list you're going to get. I always run mine at max quality. My profile is set at high. There again, this may be something you have to tinker with based on how your internet is set up and how your CPU runs. Next thing we want to look at is audio. This is your desktop audio. This is your microphones. Anything that may be coming in that produces sound that goes into the stream. I always disable these. Because what happens is if I enable one of these, it automatically puts it in the scene, and it puts it in every scene, and it cannot be taken out. So for me, I like to leave these disabled and add the source as I need them. Same thing for your microphone. I think there's a webcam option. I leave all that off so that don't have to deal with that in each scene. All right, next is video. This is the base canvas. That is the size of your monitor. And I always leave that as default. Generally it's going to pop up what your monitor is. Output scale, I want to keep that the same thing. Downscale filter, we'll leave that alone. Bicubic sharpening, we want common FPS. These are just kind of standard things. Hotkeys, those can be helpful. If you need them, you can see the list of things you have. If you want to switch from scenes, if you want to use this or you want to use that, hotkeys can be valuable. I personally don't use them, but they are there just, if you want to use them. Advanced settings, process priority, we want that set to high. We want that to, focus everything we can on this program while we're running it to try to keep our glitches down. Video, these are things I've never messed with. Force GPU, that's if you've got the chip. That's not something. The audio monitoring, leave that as default because I'm listening to it on my desktop audio. Recording, that's kind of, this is stuff that I've never messed with. If you want a longer delay, you would do that here. Just that's stuff that I don't mess with. Scene collections, I haven't messed with. Notifications, we want to enable notifications. We want to detect skip frames if that's happening. What that'll do, that'll show up down here on the left hand corner, and it's very distracting. It's bright red. It gets your attention. Appearance, that's not something I've messed with. Remote control. Streamlabs has an app that works similar to a Stream Deck. If you want to use it, you can go to the App Store and find it, and so on and so forth. So I think that's done. There's one more thing that we might want to look at: recording. When you're doing things like this video that I'm doing now, this tells OBS where to send that file to, and you can change that, based on wherever you want to send it. So I don't want it sent there. I want it sent down to my storage drive, which I've already got set up as stream recordings, and I want to select that folder. So now it's on my D drive. It's not eating up my main hard drive. So I think that's pretty much it for setting up. So we're going to click done. So what we've got here is we've started out, we've got a new scene, but we want to get our gameplay up there. So one thing that you want to make sure you've got, I'm going to drag this over here so you can see it. This is my game capture. Oh, battery's getting low. Hopefully it'll last long enough for us to finish this up. So you want to make sure that's running, whether it be Air Server or a Power Mirror, whatever that is, you want to make sure that's running. I'm going to drag this back off so you can't see it, so we can focus on what's going on. And we're in our new scene, and we're going to rename that. We're going to right click on it and rename it, and we're going to call it Golf Clash. Going to hit done. Now we've got a Golf Clash scene set up. So how do we get our game screen up there? What we're going to do is you got to go over here to sources. You're going to hit your plus icon, and we're going to pick up a game capture. All right, so we got game chat capture. We're going to add a source, and we'll call that whatever. I'm going to call it Air Server because that's what I use. Going to add a source. All right, so it's automatically picked up. It says auto, so it's picked up a window, but we don't like that. So we want to capture a specific window, and then we want to tell it that we're going to pick up the Air Server if it doesn't already default to that. So we've got that. This other stuff I leave alone. We're done. We've got our game screen on there. We can resize it. So we'll size it how we want. Then you just put it wherever you want it. You might want it in the middle. You might want it over here on the side. You might want it on this side. Wherever you want this thing to go. For today's purposes, we're going to set this up in the middle. And you can eyeball it, and you can see over here you got the pixels. You got 585 and 561. So we need to move it a little bit to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the arrow key, and we're going to bump it over until we get close to centered. And 574 and 572. We're going to call that good enough. All right, so there's your game screen. At the base minimum, this is what you need to start streaming Golf Clash. You can go on, you can hit the go live button, and you've got a silent stream. Very simple. You can type in the chat. You can, instead of talking to the people in a microphone, it's there. You're ready to go and for a very basic Golf Clash stream. A lot of people don't like that. So what we're going to do first is we're going to lock this in right there. What that means is that we can't move it. We can't grab it. We can't highlight it. It's there. It's not going anywhere. So the next thing that we might want to think about adding is maybe some music. And to do that, we're going to add an output source capture. And while we're in the Golf Clash scene, we're going to add a source, and it is an audio output capture. It says desktop audio. That's what we want. All right, and this is an old source. We're not going to use it. We're going to add a new source instead, and we're going to call it stream audio. And add a source. All right, so now, where's the sound coming? Now you see it's added a source down here. We've got a mixer telling us what's going on. Add a source. Make sure I got the music playing. What I do here, oh, this video is not available. No wonder I don't have anything. So what I do is I go find a YouTube playlist that has, NCS songs in it. And you can see here this particular playlist has 792 songs on it. So you hit play, and while that's going, we make sure that we've got the right one selected. We've got stream audio. All right, so there's your next step. You've got a basic game screen up, and you've got some stream audio to fill the voids of silence since you're not talking on stream. And you can take your slider here and you can adjust your volumes, and you just have to tinker with that. This is where recordings come into play. We'll get into that on one of the last things that we do. All right, so we've got our camera, we've got our video game set up, we've got our game capture, we've got music playing in the background. So what if we want to talk to the chat? We want to talk to the people. We don't want to type it in. From there, we're going to add a microphone. And we're still in the game, the Golf Clash. We're going to go over here to our sources, and we're going to add a source. We're going to add an audio input capture. That's your microphones. And from there, this is an old source. We're not going to use it. We're going to put stream mic. That's our source. All right, so now what we got to do, oh, you see already it's found something. It's got a microphone that it's already got in mind. So, but what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't want to default, because there might be a webcam that it picks up from somewhere. Mine just happens to be this microphone USB, audio USB. We want to make sure we got that selected. All right, done. Now you've got your microphone set up. You got a little bit of music in the background, a little mood music to set the tone, but everything's set up, ready to go. Now, one thing I want you to notice is look at the stream mic. When I'm quiet, there's still signal. Something is still coming through the microphone. So what we want to do to fix that is we want to add a quick filter to it to kind of cut that down so that you're not getting the fan that's blowing or the air conditioner or whatever. We're going to go to stream mic. We're going to right click on that. And we're going to go to filters. Don't have any filters on right now, but we're going to add one right here. Just a quick side note, if your microphone is not as loud as you want it to be, your signal's not where, you would add a gain filter. That's not what we're going to do right now, but what we are going to do is add a noise gate. And we're not, you can rename it if you want to, but we're not going to. So we're done there. And just with, I'm going to take this over here to the side and show you, just with the standard default settings, when I'm quiet, you'll notice that the stream mic has no signal coming through it. So I'm going to be quiet for just a second so you can see that. There you go. We've cut out the background noise. These are some things that you can tinker with. I would suggest going on YouTube and finding a video, OBS noise gate, watching that and seeing how to set it up a little more detailed than what I'm going into today. So there you go. You got your game, you got your music playing in the background to set the tone just a little bit, and then you've got your microphone set up. We got a filter on it to cut out the background noise. So the next step, we may not get through this one with the game screen on. Anyway, next step is if you want to add a webcam, and all this stuff starts getting repetitive at some point, but I'm going to go through it anyway. We're going to make sure we're in our scene, and we're going to go to add a source. This time it's going to be a video capture device. That's your webcams and so on and so forth. And as soon as I hit add source and I name it, we're going to call it stream cam. Keep it simple. As soon as I add it, you're going to see it pop up. And there I am. Ugh, that's an ugly dude. So anyway, I don't mess with anything here. Just, let it come through as it normally would, and you're done. Click done. There's our webcam. We can put it wherever we want it. And you'll notice that you can see that I've got my microphone is in the way, and my office chair for my takeoff table, and stuff like that. But we want to reduce some of that. And maybe you've got a room that you want everybody to see. You've got it set up, and you've got your Star Wars collection or your Lord of the Rings or your RGB lights set up, whatever you might have. You may want everybody to see what you got going on in the back, but I like to slim it down just a little bit to take up a little space. So if we just grab this, it's going to size it. What we want to do is we want to crop it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover over this block. We're going to hit the Alt key, and then we're going to bring that up to wherever we want it there. Do the same thing on the top. The Alt key is very good. Bring this in. Bring this one in. Maybe we'll take that up just a little bit. And then what that does is that you don't have to change your camera position. You can just kind of crop it. Say, I want a little more on the right. Well, there we go. I got a little more area there. You don't have to move your camera. You can kind of center it up on where you want it to be. So we've got that set up. One of the things I would suggest is, okay, we've got that where we want it. One of the things that I would suggest is that some webcams have cameras and microphones on it, and that may interfere sometimes with, you know, your camera wanting to pick up, you know, at the same time that your microphone is. I would go down here, and you can either mute this, or you can click on this settings button, and you can hide it, and it won't allow any information to come through with it. All right, so what we got? We've been on 21 minutes, and we've got a stream set up. Couple things you might want to do after you've gotten to this point. You might say, well, I want my logo up here. This is the same thing. It's starting to get repetitive. Once you've got it figured out, it starts getting repetitive. But we're going to add a source. We're going to add an image, and then we're going to call it my logo. I want that in caps. My logo. We're going to add a source. We're going to browse. You know where you keep your stuff. I think mine's in Kid Stream Stuff. There it is. Now, if you want it to be see-through and you want just your logo, it needs to be a PNG. If you don't, it's going to have a black or a white square, most likely white. I'm going to select that and open, and there we go. There is our logo. We're going to resize it. We're going to resize it to what we like, what we think looks good over here. We're going to plop it down in that corner. All right. So now we've got everything, and we've added our logo. If you want to go one step further and put something in the background to where it's not these black edges, we're going to do the same thing. It is add a source. We're going to add a new source, and you might, before we do that, like here, might want to lock that down. That way it can't move. And your webcam, you might want to lock that down. So when you're moving other things, you don't accidentally grab something. We're going to add a source. We're going to add another image. And we go. So it's already wanting to pull up my logo, but we're going to do a new logo instead. And we're going to call it background. Add source, and we're going to go here. And I've got all kinds of pictures set up. Let's go to the other one. And we're going to pull out, let's do the, well, let's just do a basic golf clash scene here. We're going to hit done. We'll position it. We can size it where we want to, whatever you want to do. All right, so now it's covering everything else. But what we want to do is we want to grab it, right click on it, and just drag it down to where it's under everything else. Now you've got your background, you've got your gameplay, your logo, all that good stuff ready to go. Lock it down so that you don't accidentally move it. I like to lock everything down if I can. So there you go. You've got your basic, very basic webcam, golf clash, microphone, game, logo, everything set up, and you're ready to start streaming. All you got to do is go down here and hit go live. Because we've already entered the stream key, it's ready to go. It's very simple. Not much more to it unless unless you wanted to add like the boom, you know, you got an animation that you want to pop up, and you know, you hit the albatross and you want it to, you know, you want to do the booms. So that would be I think the last thing we're going to really set up here is we're going to add one more source. And what this is going to be a media capture and media source right here. That's all the formats that it'll handle. We're going to hit add source. We're going to call it boom. Add source. And for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to hit loop. And then we're going to find our source. And desktop there. And here's the boom that I use, the explosion that I use. We're going to hit OK. And here we go. So we're looping for right now. And done. So now what we want to do is we want to resize this window. I like to have it, because it comes from the center here, I like to have that more centered of the screen. So we move it around and we keep it looping so that we can keep watching it and see how it's gonna, so we got it right where we want it. All right, so we got that where we want it, and we're gonna lock that one into place. Now, we got to get rid of this green screen. So how do we do that? Got to add a filter to it. Right click, go to filters, and we're going to go to this plus sign. We're going to add a filter. Select, and we're going to go to chroma key right there and hit done. Don't tinker with anything, and hit done, and boom, you've got your green screen boom set up. Now, once you got that done, you want to go back into properties and you want to turn the loop off. Hit done. So it's going to play through one time and it's done. This is one of those things where if you had a Stream Deck, it would be helpful. You could push a key on your Stream Deck and it would give you the boom. Just like that. For me, I don't have $500 to, you know, just drop on a Stream Deck, maybe one day. But the key for right now is this little eye right here. So we turn it off. You know, you can't see the source. We're playing, we get the drop. You just reach up here and you click this eye. It'll show it one time and you're done. Now, one thing you got to remember is that to turn it back off for the next time you get the drop. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of much else that that you would need there. We'll look at one more thing here. We're gonna look at our chat. So over here in our stream where we've set up our broadcast, we're gonna come over here to live chat and click these three buttons. And we're going to hit pop out chat. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. I did not know this. So now we've got our chat and the pop up. Shape this however we want it. We'll open OBS back up and we'll take our chat and we'll place it right over here. Size it to how we want, to where it's not interfering with anything. And now, when our chat comes through, everything's right here in front of us. And you're set up. And that is a 29 minutes it took to go from 0 to streaming on Golf Clash. Now, a lot of that is, you know, I've been doing this for almost a year now, and I've got a lot of this stuff set up, but I've already got my media file. You know, if you want the boom, you've got to go find that. You've got to learn how to do that, and that's not in the scope of this. Maybe we'll cover it another day. But and if you want the file, hit me up. Drop a message down in the chat below, and we'll hook up and we'll talk about maybe getting you that file. It's not a big file. Wouldn't take long to transfer it over at all. I think for right now, I think we've got a Golf Clash stream set up that ready to go live whenever we are. And One more thing. Let's look at this. So, alerts. You want your new subscriber to pop up. So that is in, where is that at? I don't think it's there. Notifications, it's not there. There's a thing over here that tells you where to put alerts. You know what? Maybe we're going to, you know where it is? It's in our sources, you big dummy. What we're going to do is we're going to add another source. One more source. And over here, Streamlabs has got these widgets set up for you. And the alert box is the first one. It says essential. Add it to it, and it's going to show you your, and there went my iPad. It just said, nope, not no more. So there we go. Alert box, we'll leave that the same and add source. This is where you get into customizing all that. I'm not going to get into showing you how to do all that, but you got your donations. It's got a default. Mine's set up for my other stream. We're going to leave that alone right now. But let's say that we want to test it. I'm going to move this off the screen because you don't need it. So we want to test our widgets. We've got the alert box up. We're showing where we want it. We've got it set. You might want it here. You put it where you want it. It's your stream, your setup. So we've got it set up, and these are already set up as transparent, so you don't have to worry about it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see what it looks like when we get a subscriber. Down here on the bottom right, you've got test widgets. You're going to click that to expand it, and we say we get a new subscriber. There we go. Our alerts are working. New membership, somebody's following. That's default because I don't run Twitch. Donation comes in. There you go. John just donated $6. In a couple of months, when I get to 1,000 subscribers and somebody wants to do a super chat, there's your super chat. So you can test it and you can see how it looks. You can resize it, whatever you want to do. But I think that really just covers, and lock that down so it don't get moved. I think that really covers from start to finish, from a blank slate in 32 minutes on how to set up a stream for Golf Clash. There's other things that you can get. It's quite a rabbit hole if you let it be. Your microphone, there's settings that to make it sound better. And before I leave, I'll go ahead and show you that right here. Just a simple OBS mic settings shows you. Any one of these will help improve your audio. So give them a listen, especially if you're having trouble, and especially if you've got a USB mic. Some of these things will really make your stream sound better. And so I think that really just about covers it. 35 minutes to set up a Golf Clash stream from zero. And if you got any questions, drop a comment below. If you're not subscribed, if you would, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. Turn the bells on to get the notifications. If there's anything else I can do for you guys, you got any questions, I hope this is just the beginning of the series and we get in a little more in depth into adding things later on. But just for starting, just for getting set up, this will get you where you need to be. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me, taking a look at the video. I hope it helps you. I hope it cuts out some of the learning curve. It's taken me almost a year to learn some of the little nuances that I've learned on this thing. And if I can help you, if I can take a year and condense it down into 30 minutes to help you guys out, I think it's worth it. Hit the likes, hit the subscribes on your way out. Greatly appreciated. Hope each and every one of you have a blessed day. And if there's anything I can do for you, hit me up down below. Later, guys.